Hello and welcome to Precious Memory Box's Junk Journaling. My name is Bobby, and today we are going to be doing a design team project for Scrapbooking with me. We're doing the January Jumpstart right now, and we're just doing different projects that are simple and easy and getting us our creative juices flowing again. So today, I thought I would do something on how to just create a fast and simple one signature journal. And so I am using two of the kits from Scrapbooking with me. I will try to link them below, but I'm using the Moroccan butterfly wallpaper, and I'll just kind of flip through here for you. This is the page I believe I'm going to use for my cover. And then on the back of it, I have printed the coffee dyed laced backgrounds. So one step to making a simple journal is using printables. And, the kits are generally inexpensive. Or if you have scrapbooking paper and you want to use that, use whatever you have on hand. There are no rules how many pages you need to have in a signature. If you have an idea of what you want to use your signature for, your journal for, that may give you an idea of how many pages you want. I believe I have 10 here, minus the cover. That would give me 9 pages. And then you times that times 4 because you're going to have 4 sides. So that this journal will have 36 pages. Now, if you also have other pages around home, other paper, like say ledger paper, wax paper, newspaper, magazine, anything else you want to incorporate into it, go ahead and grab those things and definitely use them. But you don't have to have all the different papers. It's just a matter of your own preference. Now, usually I try to trim this white off, but I kind of like the pop it gives, and I may go back later. I think I have a different color. I don't think I have any blues in here with me. No, I don't. But I'm going to go back, and I think I have like a peacock blue in the distressed oxides and inks. And I think I'll go around these edges when I do that. So I'm not even going to cut. The Moroccan butterfly wallpapers have some different types of, they've got several tags that go with it. So I cut them out, and I have an idea for these. And then they have some, you could use these as tuck spots or flips. That's why I've left this paper on here. So in case I want to have a part to fold back to flip, I can do that. I have just some little pieces like that. I have some words and phrases that were part of it. And a lot of these you could use if you wanted to turn this into a prayer journal. We've got walk by faith, not by sight. Find the joys in little things. Pray on it, have faith. So you can definitely turn this into a faith journal if you want to. And then these are pockets, and I just haven't completed cutting them in half yet. So a lot of ready-made pieces for you. And then I also have like these strips of paper here that we could use if we wanted to make a belly band, or you just want to add, extra layers to your pages. So those all came as part of the Moroccan butterfly wallpaper. And these kits are available online at Scrapbooking with me, and I didn't check on their Etsy to see if they had these particular kits listed, but most likely they do. And let's see, why don't we go ahead, and I think I want to keep this one as the cover. Let's see how it folds if I fold it in half. Make sure that will stay on the front. So it does just barely. So I think that's good. Just a slight little tidbit of the frame is knocked off there, but not enough that you can see it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and try to decide which way I want to fold these, because I would like these pages, the coffee stain pages, to be up. And the reason is I have an idea to use the tags. And let's see. I have an idea to use the tags as tabs. So we may do some each way. Look at that one. That one, I think, is going to be our center one. So we will definitely keep that one and put it in the center. So basically, we're going to fold all these in half. And just decide which way you want them to be. We may have a few out, like I said, with the coffee stain dyed papers, and we may do a few with the design papers out. So I'll tell you what, sometimes my fingers do not want to work. So that's a single paper. So this one I'm going to do in, so that will be on the outside. And I think I'll do this one. Oh, and look at this one with the frame butterfly. Oh, I love that. That would be another good choice for a cover. And then we'll do another one with this out. So I hope everyone is staying in out of the cold and snowy weather. I'm going to do this one this way. And I hope you guys are staying warm. I hope everybody has power and internet, so you can maybe watch something, get all cozy and warm. And I'm sorry for those who have to be out in this weather today. That is definitely no fun. All right, so now we've got that step done. We're going to take and we're going to stack our papers inside of each other. And I think I'm going to start with a coffee dyed one on the outside. Okay. And let's see. I'm trying to remember which one I wanted to do for the center. So we'll have to set that one aside till the last here. Let me find it again. Oh, not that one. So let's go ahead and do that one. Okay. And let's see. We'll do this one next. Oh, pretty. And then let's see what this one is on the other side. Okay, that'll work. I'll do that. And there's our center one. So we'll set that right there. Let's go ahead and do the framed one. And we'll do this one. And then we'll do this one in the center. Because when they open it up in the center, I want them to see the moth. I think that's a moth and not a butterfly. Beautiful. All right. Now, one thing about when you push all these together, it kind of sometimes pushes your pages out a little bit. I'm not too worried about that. You could take a X-Acto knife or scissors or your trimmer and try to cut all these evenly if you want with a ruler and that. But I'm honestly not bothered too much by it. I don't mind it, so I'm going to leave it just like it is. So there's our cover, and then we have our pages here. I'm going to take, and let me grab a few of these large paper clips. Okay. And I'm going to take and sew this signature in. So I'm going to try to make sure all my pages are as even and pushed in as I can get them. And then I'm going to put a couple big ones of these paper clips that just helps hold it together while you're trying to sew. All right, I'm going to put one more over here. All right. Okay. So I'm going to grab my needle and thread and all. I'm going to measure at least 3 times the length of my spine here. And some people even go 3.5, but I think 3 will be all right. We'll trim that. And this is wax thread that I'm using, but you can use embroidery thread. People use all kinds of different things. Like, off the top of my head, that's the only other one I can think of, but I know that they use string. I've seen people use, what do you call that type of string? Baker's twine. I've seen them use that. So explore. Some people just staple. They have like a long arm staple. They'll staple. I've seen people use brads. So several different ways that you can bind your book. But for me, one of the easiest ways is just to make a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. So I've got a needle and thread here. If you don't have one of these kits, you can get one pretty inexpensively, like less than $10. You can get that on like Amazon if you want, or eBay, I'm sure, or even through Walmart you can probably get them. All right, so what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to be exact on this, but I'm going to kind of line this up. So my page is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5 inches. So I'm just going to try to go 2, 3, 4. Just going to kind of go right here in the center. And you do want to try, when you poke through, to keep it in your center if you can. So there you go. And I will often poke a little farther up on my awl, because as you see, the awl gets larger. So I will do that. Then for my other holes, I usually will come down about 1 inch from the top. All right, so there's one there. And then I'll just kind of eyeball it again. And I'll usually do about 1 inch from the bottom. Sorry about my table. It is wanting to rock because I'm leaning on it with my elbows. Okay, now you're going to take your needle and thread. I don't tie mine off. I just pull a little bit through. Okay, and I always have to think about this. Which way do I go through? So I'm going to go through the center first on the inside, and I'm going to pull that all the way. And it doesn't matter if you go top or bottom next, but I'm going to come up through the bottom one and pull that. Okay, now I need a little more thread, so I'm just going to pull that through by hand there a little bit. There we go. And check how it looks on your outside. You want it to be snug, but not so tight it's going to rip your papers. Okay, so now I'm going to come all the way up here to the top and pull that down. Okay, and then I'm going to go back in through the center hole, and it's really important when you come back through your center hole that you do not split, meaning you don't go through this wax thread again, because it'll be hard to tie off your journal if you do that. So see, you can see how much extra I have. Now, it's your choice if you like to add charms or dangle, little jewels or something. You may want to leave your strings long. And I may do that this time. I'll have to look in my stash and see if I have any maybe butterflies or something I can add to it. But today I'm just kind of showing you we're just making a basic one to get us started. So I'm going to tie 2 knots, and I'm going to leave those strings right there so that I can maybe later add something to it. If you decide you're not going to add something to it, you can either tie a bow or you can just snip off your strings there and leave it as it is. So as you can see, once I gathered my papers and put this together, it really did not take a long time to make a signature. What I would do here is let's see what colors. I don't think I brought the right colors in. We could also do a brown. And I can show you just slightly. This is walnut stain oxide. You don't have to have this, of course, but if you do, you might as well use it. And I'm just going to do the outside of the journal. But this will show you how you can cover up that white if you want to do it without trimming, having to go and trim all the paper. Now, if you were going to do this throughout, I would go ahead and do it all before you tied it together. You know, you sewed the signature in. But you could also cover your pages, the edges, with lace or paper. You know, just to give it a little contrast. I can show you that here in a moment. But I'm just going to do this on the front. And maybe on the back, and that'll call it good. You could also do it across here if you want to. This is such a pretty kit. I'm really drawn to the color combination of it with the teal blues and the golds and brown. I love that. And I believe this one is by Melinda at Scrapbooking with Me. She has her own YouTube channel, of course. It's Melinda Pilot, if you want to go and check out some of her videos. All right. Now, what you could do too, if you didn't want to trim all your edges off, but you didn't like necessarily the white edges, you could, like I said, you could grab some lace and put along these edges, but you could also take papers like this and just simply trim it out, and then you would never see them. So as we go along, I think I'll do that right in here, and just to show you what that looks like. I like that. So let me grab my glue. And this is just, I think it's Barely Arts glue in here. And I'm just going to go ahead and add that to this page. And with it coming with this kit, it was exactly the right length. So I didn't really even have to cut or trim it up any. All right, so there we have a page edge. And let's see, we've got some more here. So I'm going to keep one of these as a belly band, I do believe, and the other one I may cut in half and use this also as a page edge. All right. One other thing I wanted to do or try and see if it would work like I was thinking is I wanted to create page tabs out of these. And so you could either use these just as they are, and I don't have my single hole punch in here. I would punch out the holes. But you could all along here, you could go through and use these as page tabs and just line them up. You know, I would try to line them up evenly all the way down. And then another thing you could do is if you have different punches, and if say you have a tab punch, you could take your tab punch. I have this one, which I think is a little smaller than this one. So I'm going to use this one because I'm not sure the tags are big enough for my little bit larger one. Now these, on this punch, you have to fold it in half. I'm going to look here. Can't quite tell. They might be the same size. let's try one with this one. Or you can create tabs from the tags. Oh, that'll work fine. Okay. And now I have a tab. And so I'm going to punch out. I'm not going to have enough for every single page, but you definitely can stagger them as you go along. I just like to use my pages or my stamps upside down because I can definitely see better what I'm doing. There we go. I love these tags. They're pretty blue. And these are part of the Moroccan butterfly kit. Sorry, my chair I'm sitting in is kind of squeaky. All right. Okay, there we go. We'll set that over the side. Let me make sure I didn't miss any here. Oh, I might have missed a couple. There's one. And that one's something different. So one more. Two more. There we go. All right. This one I think is my favorite right there. Okay. So I'm going to set these over to the side and we'll do them at the very last. One more I missed here. Okay, there we go. And then let's see, we've got a couple pockets. We've got 4 pockets that we can use. And especially when you're just starting out, you know, and you're not real sure about how to make a pocket, how to, you know, make certain things. That's where a lot of the kits that come with the pieces really come in handy. Now, if you have a circle punch, you could try to line this up with your circle punch depending upon its size. But this one is, I think, easy enough to cut out. So I've got that one. And so I'm gonna sometimes, depending upon the direction I have to go, I have more trouble cutting. Okay, there we go. All right, 2 more here. And we have that beautiful blue. And if you have trouble getting all the white, you know, cutting the white lines completely out, just take a little bit of your ink and use it to cover up that white. And I would say this project, from beginning to end, including like picking out your papers, you know, printing your papers, and all that. If you just make a single signature, I think you could probably do this definitely within 2 to 3 hours at the most. Especially if you're using a printable kit. If you're gathering things in your house, could take you a little longer, just depending upon what things you want to use. But I always encourage someone who's starting out to grab a junk journal kit, from a printable and use it because it just helps you along. Okay, so these pockets are a little wider than these pockets, and that's fine. So I think I'm going to, this is the inside cover. I think I'm going to add one of the wider pockets here. Oh, my glue's decided to plug up here. Let me grab a pin and see if I can unplug it. There we go. And I'm just going to try to get this as close to the edge as I can. Okay. You can also make tags easily for yourself out of the papers. You could just take some of the papers and cut a 6 by 3 or 5.5 by 3, whatever your favorite length of tag is, and add that to your journal. I did that recently on another video on my channel. All right, I'm going to add that here. I'm just trying to kind of center it and line it up on this line down here to help me keep it straight. There we go. And let's see, we will choose inside here. We'll go a couple pages and maybe choose another spot that we could add. So I've also got these. And the reason I left this line here is because that way I can make it a little flip. So I'm going to fold this over. You could use your score tool if you have one. But if not, just, grab a bone folder or your scissors or something to make sure your crease is good. There you go. And then you can add it right here. You can use it as a flip. I didn't color the back of my thing on this one, but that's okay. But you could use it as a flip, or you could also glue it here and here and make it a tuck spot. So I think we'll just make it a flip. Now, if you had you were going to put something on the back side, you could definitely glue the part I bent over on this side and then just cover it. But since I didn't, I did this way. So I have a flip there. This one I left because I'm thinking of doing a flip at the top of the page. So I'm going to take this off here. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and ink it. See if I can do it in the air so I don't get. But I'm going to go ahead and ink this so it's not a bright white. So I can show you an example of folding it over the page if you want. Okay. So let me go ahead and fold this. And then we'll find a spot in our journal for it. So you could do something like this, but we'll go a little farther since we've did a pocket not too far away. Now I'm going to try to leave some of these pages. They look good with the decorations on them, but I want to try to leave some of them more as a writing surface. So what if I do something like this here? And you can kind of have a secret butterfly under. So that's kind of neat. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to glue it on the underside. Okay. grab this page and I'm going to turn it this way to make it a little easier. And then you just want to get it on here and make sure you've got it lined up the way you want. Press it down. And there you go. You've got a flip up here that you could add some decoration to. You know, you could put something else underneath of it. All right. Now we've got 2 more pages, and we can also, I'd love to make a belly band somewhere. That would be a pretty page to do it on. But since we have something there, let's go backwards here. I'm going to leave that for writing space. This could be a pretty one. Or here. That's pretty. I think that might be a nice spot right there for a belly band. All right, let's do a belly band right here. I'm going to glue the top. And I usually do that a little bit thick because if you do stretch your pages, you know, trying to get things in and out of the belly band, you want it to be secure. Okay. Now you can definitely just measure this and cut it off and trim it off. I feel like that is crooked for some reason, but there we go. Okay, and then what I do is I just come down here to the bottom. Oop, wrong glue bottle. And I will line up where I need the glue, and then I just put it down. That belly band is crooked. Okay. I don't know if I have time to straighten it out or not. I'm going to try. All right. So we're going to put that down there. I'm going to let that dry for a few minutes, and then we'll come back and I'll cut that off. All right. So we've got a flip there. So we need to put our 2 pockets in other spots. I think this could be a good spot. Let's see. It needs a little ink right there. And there's nothing that says your pocket has to be down here at the bottom. You could have your pocket right in the middle of your page, which I think we'll do. You could tuck in a little tag or a note or some ephemera that you like. And I'm just going to glue that down right there. Okay, and let's see. Where do we want our other pocket to be? We need another one on this side. So we're going to leave that to write on. That is so pretty. What if we add a pocket there? All right. It's like a pretty doily. There we go. All right. Now you can certainly add more pockets, more belly bands, you know, tucks. You could do a side tuck. We can do that with that other long piece that I was thinking of doing for the side pieces, but we'll do a side tuck. That way you can see one of those. So you can definitely go through and add as much or as little as you like. Okay. I'm just keeping this kind of minimal so that I can show it to you all in one day. So we can take this, here we go, and we can just find a page in here that we like. I think we need something more on this side of the journal, So since this one is a little deeper, and then of course the way I want to leave it open, where if you were doing it as a page edge, you would most likely glue it down. Okay, so I'm going to cut that right there. And for a page edge, you can also take, if you have any punches, you can take and make a little notch in it to make it easier for you to slide things in and out of. So I made a little notch there with my punch. You can also use a circle tab to do that. And if you want your edges rounded, you could use a little corner rounder and do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to glue here and then along the back side. Okay. And then I'm going to line it up with the edge of the page. Let me move that over just slightly. There we go. I may have to add a little bit more glue to this. I don't think I put my glue on there thick enough. But there we go. And then you can take and add a piece of paper, a tag, anything you have that you want to decorate with, you can add it right in there as a side tuck. So use the papers you have, definitely. All right, so let's kind of jump through it, and then maybe we'll use some of our words in that and our tabs. So we've got our cover. And then we've got like a side border. Like I said, if you have some pretty lace or ribbon you want to use that also. Create a ruffle or just something pretty. So we've got plenty of pages to write on, plenty of pages that we could decorate more on. There's one of our pockets. Here's our center. And then we've got a pocket up here that we could add our little card to. Now that you can cut apart and use in different ways. Here's a little flip that we added, which you could decorate the back of. We've got a belly band here where you can take and add in larger things that you want to hold in your journal. Oops. Sorry about that. All right, plenty of space to write in this one though. All right, we got another flip up here. And then we've got a back pocket. Plenty of spaces to write in here. All right, let's cut out a few of our words. And let's use soaring because the butterflies are soaring. Okay, and I also like beautiful. There we go. And let's see, we've got, I like some of these. Begin each day with prayer. I like that one. Find joy in the little things. And then let's see, this one says, take flight, be brave, pray on it, have faith, live like it's the last days of our lives, remember the good, joy, love, and happiness. I love take flight, so let's do that one. Okay, and let's also do pray on it. I like that one. Okay, so let me set these back over here out of our way. All right, and we'll put the ones we're going to use over here to the side. I want to add something to the front. Maybe the Take Flight. It needs a border though. Maybe not. Maybe if I put it down here more, and I'll just try to ink around it to help that stand out more. But you could add it underneath a piece of the paper to kind of layer it. All right, this one is Take Flight. All right, let's see where we'd like to add the other ones. So you could add a word to each page if you want. So I like this. This one kind of has a blue border around it, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. And I'm going to put it in this more neutral spot here. There we go. Let's see, let's add something here. And let's do Find Joy in the Little Things. And let's see, I don't know if I want to do it on this page or this. I think I want to do it here on this blue because it'll pop out that way. There we go. You could round your corners if you want to. You know, whatever you like. Okay, let's go. Is this my center? No, not quite to the center. Okay. Do we want to put anything on the center? Kind of thinking about soaring. Let's do that one. All right, soaring. There we go. And let's see. We've got begin each day with prayer, and we've got pray on it. I like the pray on it. There we go. And then let's go a little ways in. We've got a belly band there. You could definitely add, if you have a butterfly, like I have these butterflies here, you could definitely cut out one and add it to the center of that if you want for a focal point. How about we put this one over here, begin each day with prayer. And that's a good page that you could definitely write a prayer on, or just journal on your daily thoughts, whatever you like to journal about. And there we go as far as the sentiments. But there's plenty here that you could, you know, probably almost do one for every page. Now, the other thing I was considering doing, and let's see, is maybe taking these little tags, and let's see how many we have. I think we have 8. Maybe 10. We might have 10 of them. Okay, so there's some, and then we've got some more up here. And what I wanted to do just for something fun, you don't have to do this, but is just take and place these ever so many pages. Okay, let's do a quick count of pages. I'm not going to count the covers. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yep, that's what I thought. Okay, so if we divide that in half, we could do 9 tabs. If we divide that in, let's see, why don't we do one divided, 6 times 3 is 18. So why don't we go every 3 pages and do one? Okay, so I'm going to start on the first one, and I really love this one. I kind of want it to be the first one, even though we did a page edger there. I'm going to go ahead and add my glue. And I'm going to have to turn it slightly so I can line this up. Okay. And I'm trying to decide how I want to line it. I think I'm going to try to line it on the edge so these will stick out. So there we go. There's one. Okay. So I'm going to go 1, 2. Make sure that's not a page sticking together there. Okay. So I did 1, 2. Trying to decide if I need to put it on the 3rd page or I need to go to the 4th page. Okay. We're just gonna do it here. If we don't get it quite right, that's okay. Okay, so I want the next one to be somewhat lined up over this one. Okay, so I want it to go right here. I'll put it down just a little ways. Okay. Whoops. And you could definitely, these aren't that big, so I may need to go down just a little farther. So there's page 2 and page 3. Trying to grab a hold of that so I got them all together. There we go. So I can kind of see where I want to line this one up. And I'm going to go down just a little bit because I think my pages are going to be longer than my tabs, you know. Okay, so there's that one. So let's pick out our next one. Maybe this one. Or do we want something with a design? Okay, let's do this one next. This one kind of has a wallpaper design. Okay, so I'm going to grab this and grab 2 more pages. Okay, and then so on this page will be next. You need to create a little space between them. Line that up at the top. Okay, let's see how we're looking so far. Not too bad. Have that one just a little crooked. That's okay though. See if I can straighten it. I think I'll tear my page if I do. Okay, so we're gonna do that one. And we'll grab 2 more, and this will be our next page. That worked out perfectly. And I love this one. So let's do this one next. Okay, so this is going to be number 4. Okay, I'm going to go down 3 pages. There we go. And I'm going to try to line this one up here, right on the edge. You could, of course, measure this all out, you know, however you want. I'm more of a just do it as I go kind of person. Okay. Then we've got 1, 2, and this will be our next page with the belly band. Let's do something like this. got that one a little crooked. Like I said, though, we're not going to fret over it. Okay. And I'm going to try to line this one up the best I can. All right. Boy, that glue dries quickly. Okay, so now we should be 1, 2, and there we go. Our last page. And let's do this one. All right, and I'm just going to grab this so I can kind of see where to line it up. And we're going to go right there. Just a little bit. Oh no, we need to come up. Whoops. See, my glue was already drying on me. Okay. That one I got a little bit low, but that's okay. And there we go. Oh, I like that. So those, you know, just something you can do with your different punches, or you can make it a little square tab. You could have used these instead of me cutting the tags out. You could have just used the tag like a tab too. If you wanted to glue it in here, you could have done that too. So just personal preference. But there is a quick and simple journal that you can make definitely in a day. Excuse me. And it's, you know, it's beginner friendly. Great way to use your printables, and you know, just it's fun, and you have a lot of pieces there that you can already use, so you don't have to kind of try to come up with, you know, a bunch of different ideas, you know. So definitely use your printables when you're starting out, or if you've been doing it a long time, you know. So we've got our sewn in signature. We've got let's see, 18 times 4 would be what, 32 pages, plus 34, yeah, 32 plus the inside and the backside cover. So that would be 34 pages you have to write on in this journal. So thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to go check out Scrapbooking with me, their shop. And if you use the code Bobby20 on their scrapbooking.com, you can get an extra 20% off. It does depend on whether they're having sales or not having sales currently, but definitely use that on their digitals and get it a little bit extra off. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you guys have a wonderful afternoon. Bye.